Hey everyone, how's it going? I hope you're doing well. I'm doing well because today we're talking about music, and today we're looking at my recent pickups since my last video. It's kind of carrying over into more than a month, but I'm really pleased with what I got. I got a great batch of CDs, great batch of vinyl, great batch of tapes, and we're just going to get right into it because there's actually a surprising amount here, all found except one item, all found while thrifting. So, real happy with that. Let's start with the vinyl first. I got three LPs and then some 45s to look at. This first one here is I Dream. Is it I Dream? I Sing the Body Electric by the Weather Report. Very famous jazz fusion group. This is their second album. There's the back there. I mean, the write up on the back really says it all. It's not music in the traditional sense. I don't know if that's going to put people off, but it's definitely, a soundscape. It captures moods and attitudes. It's a weird thing to put on, but it's going to take you on a journey. It's going to take you on a voyage. That was a good segue because next up is my first ever album by Jean-Luc Ponty, Imaginary Voyage, well known in the jazz fusion and progressive rock sphere as a great, electrical violinist, and he's assembled a really cool band for this album. This is actually the first album I've ever listened to from him. So on side one, you've got, New Country, which is exactly what it sounds like, progressive country. Gardens of Babylon, which is pretty cool. Wandering on the Milky Way, which is sort of an atmospheric solo piece. Once Upon a Dream into Tarantula, I'd say that are the most kind of prog rocky bits on side one. Side two is entirely Imaginary Voyage, which is okay. It's a pretty good album. I'm really excited to get into this and get into some more Jean-Luc Ponty, but I'm happy that was a good first introduction to him. Last LP, I was pretty shocked to find this. This is Bob Dylan's John Wesley Harding. After a few albums with Blonde on Blonde, or is this right after? This may have come out right after Blonde on Blonde. Kind of goes back to his sort of folksy, semi-acoustic roots on this. Obviously, tons of great hits on this one, but well known for All Along the Watchtower. But I think I Dreamed I Saw St. Augustine. That's probably my favorite on here, as well as Drifter's Escape, closing out side one. That I've got two 45s. Again, I always say I'm not a 45 collector. I got to admit, I guess now I am. So number one, this is on the Scotch Brothers label. This is Survivor with Eye of the Tiger, and then the B-side of Take You on a Saturday, which was another album track, I believe. So up there. And then this one, this goes out to our best friend, my best friend and yours, Jax Russell, Honeymoon Suite, Feel It Again with the B-side of Wounded, which I think they had previously done Wounded as the B-side for Bad Attitude, but they released it here after finding some recent success. AOR, it drips atmosphere. It's great. Love those Honeymoon Suite singles. So that's it for vinyl. Let's go into tapes. So again, went to the thrift store. Someone had clearly kind of emptied out their collection. Some of it just didn't appeal to me. Some of it I already had. But I mean, these were all already on cheap on sale, so they're 25 cents each. Happy to kind of add some of these, classics into my collection. Huey Lewis and the News, Sports. There we go there. I love that chrysalis label there, the blue. Great album. Obviously, my introduction was through Weird Al, but there we go. Another compilation from April Wine, the best April Wine rock ballads. The softer side of April Wine, which isn't necessarily my favorite side of April Wine, but I do like the purple on here, and they just have so many cool compilations. So happy to add another one into the collection. This is In Through the Outdoor, the last album. We're not counting Coda from Led Zeppelin there. This one, I gave a listen to it the other day. Fantastic album. Tears for Fears, songs from the big chair. Obviously, Shout. Everybody Wants to Rule the World. And I guess in terms of packaging differences, this one, because it also includes Head Over Heels as a listed track right on the cover. There's a few variations that do or do not. These next two go together, and it's actually three albums. So we'll start with Creedence Gold, which is a best of that features some harder to find versions of, I think, Susie Q, and then another track on there, Blue. And that'll go into this. It's called Creedence Clearwater Revival 1969. It's two of their albums from '69. So I think this is Green River and Poor Boy Billy. Yes. The weird thing though is that they're not just back to back in running order. It's a compilation and they're just mixed together, at least on this version of the tape. Fascinating stuff. But it's cool. Two great albums plus the greatest hits. You know, we're cooking. We're cooking. Now we're gonna get to the CDs, and really happy to have these. I'll do the one I bought new first, and then I'll get into the other thrifting finds. This one, Yes, are one of my favorite bands. I was on a really big Yes kick. Rick Wakeman, who's a great keyboardist, my favorite with the band, but his solo catalog is just so massive. It's so varied as well. I put it out on the internet as like, I've already got kind of some of his foundational earlier classic albums, you know, beyond the 70s. Where do you venture out to? I remember listening to this a little bit when it first came out streaming, but I've picked it up, a physical copy. And if you're like me, when you have something physically, you take more time to listen to it. You give it a bit more of your attention and energy. So this was his, I think, 2020. Does it say on here 2020? Yeah, 2020 album, The Red Planet. Um, there we go. So instrumental progressive rock. Very cool. All named after, I believe, landing sites on Mars, which is pretty fun. Great album. I like that one a lot. And now here we go, all the thrifting finds. This is the one I needed to complete the trilogy. This is the Fellowship of the Ring soundtrack. There we go. And one thing, so these aren't the complete recordings. One cool thing I have learned about these when doing some research, you can get the complete recordings. Those are available. But these ones include some of the prophecy when you're getting all that exposition at the very beginning of the movie. The prophecy was a truncated version of the track that they wound up scrapping for a different one because I forget if they made the exposition in the movie a bit longer or a bit shorter. Regardless, so the prophecy is an unused track, which is fun. There we go. Now these last, stacks of albums, I picked up while thrifting. So we'll go through these one by one. This album, if you know me, you know I love Bill Evans. This was his last album recorded before he passed away. It was recorded before he passed and then released, I believe, 5 months after. You Must Believe in Spring. Just such a beautiful album. I mean, every album from Bill Evans, it's gorgeous. This just feels like, and maybe it's because, it was his last hurrah, but it just comes across as so heartfelt. It just captures everything that Evans did best as a piano player. So if you're into cool jazz, piano-led jazz, quiet jazz, that's a great album to check out. These next ones, do I want to organize them in any way? I'm slowly getting through soundtracks. So I found the soundtrack to American Pie 2. There we go. It's definitely, because this is what, 2001, definitely captures the kind of teenage alt rock of the day. You're getting a little bit into pop punk. I think American Wedding, which is the third one, has a bit more of like what I would have been listening to at the time. But this one's still lots of fun. Those classic teenage movies. These next three are really cool. I was like, man, I kind of want to buy some of the music, from 20-ish years ago. I was getting a bit of a nostalgia for that, like early 2000s music that I was listening to back then. And sure enough, I went thrifting and someone, I guess, was having the opposite thought of me. I need to get rid of my music from the early 2000s. So 3 of the albums I actually had at the time, so I picked it up. This is the latest one, I guess, 2000. So that's 2013. I'm pretty sure this came out like 2004 or something. Clinton Fearon was a member of the Gladiators, a great kind of vocal harmony reggae, roots reggae group. Heart and Soul, so it's all acoustic on here. This is the deluxe extended edition, so you get a few more tracks. These are all just his own renditions of classic Gladiators tunes, including Streets of Freedom, Chatty Chatty Mouth, which is one of my favorites, and Follow the Rainbow, which I think is probably, along with Rich Man Poor Man, probably my favorite tracks from the Gladiators. So it's really cool to have a stripped back acoustic version of that. These next 2 were, regular staples in my CD player at the time. So we'll go with this one, A Perfect Circle, Mur de Nal, their first album. People saying it's not as heavy as Tool. So, well, no, that's because it's not Tool. It's a different band. But some of the tracks are great, great tracks. This is just good, angsty, heavy alt rock for when that's what you need. Sometimes we just need some angsty alt rock, and James Maynard and Co. deliver on that. And this last one, I have a great story. So this is Discovery by Daft Punk. This is their second album. Uh, you know, Very much, disco inspired, a little scratched up on the back, but it was $2, I think. This album, I remember my brother, who, I mean, he's still a big fan of house music, but he used to be a DJ back in the day, and he loved the first Daft Punk album. It's super hardened to the house with Defunk and Around the World, stuff like that. He, I guess, was into other stuff at the time, so he didn't know that another album was coming out. I was watching Much Music at the time, so I think One More Time was the big first track from that album. I really liked that song. So the CD came out. I picked this up, or maybe I got it for Christmas. I got the CD regardless, so I was pumped to listen to it. He was pumped. He's like, "What, Daft Punk? I used to love Daft Punk. Let's put it on." So the first, the entire album, in my opinion, is a banger from start to finish, no skips, but especially the first four songs. One More Time, Aerodynamic, Digital Love, Harder, Better, Faster, Stronger. Great tracks. I love them, still love them. And I remember at the time listening to it, like, this is so good. This is the best. And just him just being like, what is this? What did they do? He's also someone that, loved Radiohead, all the way into OK Computer. And then when Kid A came out, I think the same year, 2001, I think Kid A also came out in 2001. Just like, what are my favorite bands doing? For me, I love Kid A. I love Discovery. It's great. That's kind of what dictates how you feel about a band's era in a catalog. I mean, Daft Punk kind of never went back to house, but they kind of kept that disco tinge throughout their entire career. Um, but yeah, your entry point into a band and when you first heard them is totally gonna paint how you feel about them. But those are all my pickups. I got some tapes, got some 45s, got some LPs, got some CDs, and really happy to kind of revisit some of that 20-year-old-ish nostalgia. So that's what I got going on. How about you? I will catch you next time. Bye.